Hey, what's up, everybody? Today we're going to talk about the Cowboys NFL draft, where we're at. Today we're going to break down something very incredible. All the rage right now is AI, artificial intelligence. It's everywhere, right? And today we're going to leverage that technology to see what the Cowboys like to do in the draft, and it's going to spit out prospects. This is amazing. Let's get into it. The corduroy cap mode, you little motherfuckers. Here we go. Boom! All right. So yeah, man, this is fun. This is a lot of fun. Very exciting. First time we've done it. We used it here on the channel. I'm going to get right into it. So went into Sports AI and I asked it a couple of questions, and one of them I asked over the last 10 years. Okay, the reason why I want to go back 10 years, this is about the time that you start to get the influence of more of Stephen Jones, and then more of the influence of Will McClay building the draft board and drafting the players. So going back 10 years, I want to know, what are the Cowboys' tendencies? Okay. What positions do they like to look at in the first 2 rounds? Okay. I mean, I didn't want to take this all 6 rounds or whatever the hell. Just give me the important meat and potatoes of the draft, early rounds, first and second round. So looking at it, if you take a look at it here, take a look at this. Going back all the way to 2013, comes back. AI spits out the positions that the Cowboys like to draft are linebacker, cornerback, defensive end, and offensive lineman. Okay, so that being said, for this year, that's what they're looking at. I asked the Sports AI, what positions do the Cowboys are going to look at most likely in this year's draft, and the answer was linebacker, cornerback, defensive end, or offensive line. Most notable wide receiver was not there right now. Running back was not there. Tight end was not there. Quarterback, defensive tackle. So a couple notables there. And going back, just the AI just breaks it down. What are the Cowboys most likely to do? Next, I ask which prospects. So what the Sports AI does, it scours the internet for everything about the Cowboys. Twitter, blogs, news reports, national reports, everything. So it took a while to render that information for me. It took a few minutes, but it came back with a couple of names. Coincidentally, some of these names are on the 30 visits. Okay, so let's break down the names. Okay, looking at the 4 positions that the Cowboys are likely to draft in this year's class, according to Sports AI. Linebacker. All right, first one, Drew Sanders out of Arkansas. All right, he is a 30 visit for the Cowboys. Cowboys have high interest in him. Like him as a linebacker, he's got the length and the ability to give you some pass rush. So somebody that you could put out there with Micah Parsons and have a dual threat, right? Somebody that you can bring him along and use him in that kind of fashion. Okay, Trent Simpson. This is a most recent 30 visit for the Cowboys out of Clemson. One of these, to me, he's like a kind of like a classic linebacker, sideline to sideline tackling machine. Just very fluid in his movements. Solid tackler, seek and strike type of tackler. I like him a lot, man. He moves like a cornerback, like a safety to me. All right, so it kind of reminds me of the guy from Clemson a couple years ago, where I didn't know where the hell to put him. Kind of like that, but more of a linebacker, not really a safety per se. Okay, and Jack Campbell, here from Sports AI. Jack Campbell out of Iowa. This is your, the most traditional linebacker from this group of linebackers that the AI gave me. Okay, Jack Campbell, not confirmed as a 30 visit, but the Cowboys, obviously there's interest here. There's AI picked up his name here, attached to the Cowboys. That's an interesting one there. If you want a more traditional linebacker. He's not going to give you pass rush ability, but he'll be a guy that's going to go in there and clog the hole up, make tackles behind line of scrimmage, or sideline to sideline. Martin Mapu, Sacramento State. You know, would he be a first or second rounder? For me, he's probably more of a end of second, third round kind of guy, but that's the name that the AI gave out, and it is also a 30 visit for the Cowboys. Martin Mapu, Sacramento State. He's a linebacker slash safety kind of guy. 6'3", 210 or so, kind of light for a linebacker. So it'll be interesting to see, you know, if the Cowboys were to draft him. I wouldn't see the Cowboys drafting him in the first round. We're looking more at the second round, which the AI broke down first and second round. So he's probably more at the end of a second round, which is basically a third round guy. And I think for me, you know, my grade on him, he's like a 3, you know, at most. But, you know, if the Cowboys want to go early, you might have to go there. But I like a lot more players than him. So interesting to see him on this list here. AI talks about cornerback, you know, first 2 rounds. Traditionally, Cowboys do that historically over the last 10 years. The names that the Sports AI have popped out: Emmanuel Forbes, Mississippi State. We talked about him several times. Don't really need to talk too much about him, but he is also a 30 visit. Tariq Stevenson out of Miami, another 30 visit for the Cowboys. He has all the measurables. To me, he's one of these cornerback slash safety type of guys. So it'd be interesting to see if the Cowboys were to take him, where would they put him at? You know, are we looking at a Byron Jones type of situation where these guys don't know where the hell to put him? I don't think so. I think that, you know, Mike McCarthy and along with, you know, our defensive coordinator, Dan Quinn, these guys know where they want to put him. So I wouldn't worry about that. If they put him at corner, that's where he'll be. If they put him at safety, that's where he'll be. He won't be one of these guys going to be flipping and flopping like they did with Byron Jones. All right, Cam Smith out of South Carolina. Sports AI popped that name out for him. Looking at him, it's the measurables, probably. You know, he's attached to the Cowboys in some form or fashion. Didn't seem as a 30 visit, but he is there. Okay, we're looking at defensive ends now. Cowboys, first and second round. That's their tendencies for defensive ends. So that's why Will McDonald comes out of here on the AI list. I've talked about him as well. He's a guy here that very well could be taken here in the first round, maybe second round. I don't think he'll last into the 50s for the Cowboys. You're probably looking more of the Marcus Lawrence type of deal. Like if you went in the first round and you took a different position and you wanted Will McDonald in the second, it might be one of those deals where, like we did with Lawrence, you move up to trade up to grab him. I don't think that he'll be there at the end of the second. So, but he's on the list here. An interesting name here, Derek Hall out of Auburn. Interesting name here that the Sports AI spit out. Now, I did tweet earlier this week that you know, a lot of the 30 visits on average, Cowboys 2 out of the 30. You know, anywhere from early to late. You know, late round kind of guys. I think there's been like 1 or 2 seasons where they didn't even draft a guy from the 30 visit, and there have been some years where they took like 3, you know, at max. So he's on here. Derek Hall, he's a Senior Bowl guy. Okay, so he's one of those guys that I'm talking about. Go back and circle back to your Senior Bowl guys. Actually, Martin Mapu from we talked about here just a little bit ago. He was one of those Senior Bowl guys. So Senior Bowl guys, 30 visits. Cowboys love taking these guys. So Derek Hall, Senior Bowl, he did very well at the Senior Bowl. Almost like a defensive MVP during practice. Had a pretty good showing. Isaiah Foskey, also a Senior Bowl guy. Cowboys, there's interest here for him. I think they like the measurables. They like the speed off the edge. Still raw, but same way that you put him into the mix, you know, he's going to give you pass rush ability. And then finally, offensive line. Cowboys tendencies, offensive line, first or second round. Steve Avila, he's been a hot name, so that's not a surprise that AI picked up on that. A name here to really keep an eye on. 2 names, actually. I'll go with the first one. Darnell Wright out of Tennessee. He's a right tackle. Cowboys are looking at him at guard. And this is a name that this would be like one of those names where if you're not paying attention, you're not watching enough draft coverage, if you're just focused on the national draft coverage, and come draft night, you hear the name Darnell Wright, you will be one of those fans like, who the hell is this guy? You're gonna be pissed off and all kinds of shit. Don't be surprised by this pick, okay? You're hearing it from me. Darnell Wright, Tennessee, right tackle at Tennessee. Transition him to left guard. He's a big guy, has good size, very fluid. This is a guy that this is athletic, more athletic. He can do the pulls. He can do all this. So I think that's definitely why you see him on there. And he is also a Cowboys 30 visit. And they met with him at the Senior Bowl. So you got a lot of check marks there from him. So Darnell Wright. Think about that name there at 26 and do not be surprised. Joel Tippmann out of Wisconsin is 6'6", 330-pound behemoth. This guy plays center at Wisconsin. Okay, but they like the mauling ability. I think that they would definitely put him as a guard, and he gives you that center flex. And you know, depending on how everything goes with Biadish, you know, maybe they have the flex there with Joe Tippmann. He makes the list. Juice Scruggs out of Penn State, talked about him. He's flying up draft boards. Okay. Center at Penn State, guard. A lot of teams are looking at him at both. For the Cowboys, same thing with Joe Tippmann. You know, this is a guy that can give you flex. They'll like him at guard, but he gives you that flexibility as a center. So Juice Scruggs makes a list from the AI. So interesting list here for the first 2 rounds of the Cowboys. Take a look at this list here. I'll leave it up for a second. And this is what the AI is talking about. These are the Cowboys' tendencies for the first 2 rounds of the last 2 seasons. They've been taking linebackers, cornerbacks, edge rushers, and offensive linemen for the most part. Okay. So that's where these numbers are coming from. Scouring the internet, that's where these names are coming from. So take a look at these, you know, and if you're not familiar with them, you know, brush up on some of them. But a good list of names indeed. I think the Cowboys are definitely going to come away with, you know, possibly 1 or 2 guys from this list. Okay, so guys, let me know what you guys think about AI, motherfuckers. Sports AI, interesting technology, leveraging it here for the channel for you guys. I think it's just an interesting thing just to go through, and you know, we'll see come draft time, you know, how accurate, how inaccurate is the AI. So that's all I have for today, guys. Continue to like, subscribe, and share. We'll see you for the next one. Peace.